Good evening, everyone. So, today we are going to start our second group for the month of August, which is the Advanced Spoken English class for professionals. So, of course, this is not our first time meeting like this. And we have students from many professions. Of course, they are professionals. So, I don't have to list them out. You can see it in the screen as well. And yes, we successfully started our first one for the month of August a few weeks ago, and we are continuing that. And with the demand and all that, we thought of starting a second one in the same month. And this class will be continued on Saturdays from 8 to 10 p.m. So before I go into the course details, I would like to introduce myself first. So some of the students actually personally contacted me and got the details. But for the students who are meeting me for the very first time, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Teja Nanayakkara, and I'm currently working as a spoken English lecturer and as the managing director of Online A Plus Tutor. And also I'm working as a spoken English lecturer with some other websites too. And I'm actually training as a psychology counselor and also talking about the other higher studies. Yes, I have completed my LLB law honors. I'm a law graduate from Liverpool John Moores University, and I'm currently reading for a master's too. And I'm an alumna of Vichelli International School, Colombo, which is a leading and the best international school in Sri Lanka. So that is actually the areas that I'm working with. So moving on to the course details. So of course, I have named it as Advanced Spoken English Class for Professionals. Yes. So this is for this professionals who could speak English up to some extent, up to some level, but who are willing to speak English fluently and in a more advanced manner. So most of the professionals who contacted me and the ones that I'm working with has the common issue. So most of them can understand what the other person is speaking, but when he or she starts to speak, they run out of words, or else they do not know if this is correct or wrong. So they have this lack of confidence when they have to face a situation like that. So different sorts of questions have come up. And yes, let me talk about the course also. This is a 4-month course. So starting from today, we'll be continuing it on Saturdays, and we'll be covering 4 days per month. And yeah, Saturdays 8 to 10 p.m. And most of the students has asked about this course content. So what I'm actually planning to do here is, now we all know that this class is for professionals, and one thing to note, this class will be conducted in English totally. And in a situation where you can't understand it, we will be explaining it in Sinhala, but that is at the very last stage, if you seriously can't understand something. And yes, we'll be looking at advanced vocabulary. Now, most of the students complain that they don't know the perfect word to use in this situation. So we'll be focusing more on vocabulary and also pronunciation, and also a little bit about writing skills also. This is mainly focused on spoken English, but we'll be focusing a little bit on the writing side also. And yes, we have many postgraduate students, so I'll talk about that also. Now, the professionals, yes, they have the subject knowledge, they are experienced, they are the experts in their subject. But when it comes to the language, they have this, barrier. They can't really present their ideas in a very free manner. They get stuck. And when they get to do a presentation or a speech in front of an audience, they get stuck. So they are afraid to do something like that. So in this course, we'll be working on those skills as well. Spoken English, the speech, and also the presentation skills. So how do we present ourselves in front of an audience? And how do we, in a business conference, or maybe a meeting, how do we present our ideas properly? Now today it is an introductory session, and also I will be doing a lesson today. And really sorry, I can't allow you to speak today because a large number of students are connecting, getting joined for this, as this is an open session. But from next week onwards, we'll be doing it like with the selected number of students. And yes, talking about the number of students that we take per group, I have clearly mentioned in the WhatsApp group also, we'll be taking up until 15 students per group. And I'm happy to say, even before the first day, 9 students have paid and confirmed for group 2. So you can do the math. There's like space for another 6 students in group 2. And don't ask again what's the day and time. Yes, it is displayed. It is on Saturdays 8 to 10 p.m. If you have any further questions, you can use the Zoom chat to send them. So more about the course content, we'll be giving individual attention to each one of you. And you can present yourself. You can talk about your difficulties that you face. And we'll be catering according to that. I know we have students from different professions, but still it will be like, we'll be treating it as a common, very general group in which we can, correct their mistakes and also give them the opportunity to speak up in the class, which is a very rare opportunity that you get in most group classes. But in this, we'll be mainly focusing on each individual. So mainly we'll be looking at pronunciation as well. Now, when you talk about pronunciation in English, it's not like Sinhala. A small mistake in pronunciation may lead to a very big one, right? So if you spell, or else if you pronounce the word, actually, if you pronounce the word in a wrong manner, the meaning will come out differently. So as a professional, you should not make such mistakes. And also in this professional class, I mainly focus on this as well. Politeness. How do we talk in a formal manner? So we need to know where do we draw the line? What is basic English and what is advanced English? What is informal speech and what is formal speech? So we need to know the difference between these two. And as professionals, you have to, present yourself with confidence as well. No matter how much English you know, how much of an expert in language, if you can't present yourself in front of an audience, that is a drawback. So in this course, we'll be mainly focusing on those aspects. And yes, if you have any other questions, you can send them through the Zoom chat. And yes, some students has asked, now this is for professionals, do you do for other levels also? Yes, I have classes for beginners and professionals. And this is the professionals class. So if you need a little more, on a lower level, then you can actually go for the beginners class. But here we are looking at the professionals who can speak English up to a certain extent and who is willing to improve and who is willing to speak the language fluently. So that is basically the main objective in our class. All right, so we'll move on to today's lesson. Now the lesson that I chose for today is this. 50 plus, actually I'm trying to do more than 50 today. Let's see. Advanced phrases for confident English conversations. Now, a very, actually the utmost important feature that you have to have is confidence. You have to be very confident with what you speak. And you have to be very confident about what you are speaking, what your ideas are. And it should be very clear to the audience, the opinion, or else the idea that you are trying to present them. So if you don't have this language skill or this conversation skills or this communication, that part you are going to lose. Like you will miss many opportunities. Now, as I'm working with professionals, they have these promotions that they are looking forward to, and some undergraduates trying to pursue a postgraduate program. So they have this difficulty, and I'm happy to say all of the students who are watching this, who have joined today, have the exact same objective, the exact same goal. So yes, I'm actually inviting every one of you to join the class and see the difference. I can assure you the improvement within a month. You will actually, now I'll try to actually present some of my past pupils like from the previous group within the course. So you could actually talk with them and also, share your ideas. Now, how is this? Like, they will actually tell you what the difference is. So without taking any more time, let's move on to, yes, would you start third or fourth groups? Yes, probably. Now for August, we actually planned just one group, but because of the demand and all that, we thought that we should start a second one. So probably it will be after the end of August. We haven't decided a date yet, probably in September. Yes, the videos. Now, speaking of the videos, some students, if they miss the class, if they miss the live class, yes, we will be providing the video recording of that session. Yes, that will be provided. But I request from almost all the students, if it is not something urgent or something like that, please attend the live session, because we'll be giving you the chance to speak and practice during those 2 hours. So don't miss that chance. All right. So yes, you could send your questions through the Zoom chat. I will answer them um, while I'm doing the lesson. So shall we move on to the next part? This is about advanced phrases for confident English conversations. So in this part, we'll be actually looking at several situations. So we'll start with this. Now, what do you say when you are asking for other people's opinions? Now, as professionals, at least once in your life, if you have to attend a meeting, or else you have to present your ideas, maybe with a superior, maybe with your boss. So it's always you have to present your opinion, and you have to know what others think about it. Do they agree with you, or else do they disagree with you? So it is something that you have to do in a very polite manner, and also in an interesting manner, which everybody feels like they have to take a part in it. So we'll see how do we do that. Now, the very basic and the most simplest form of asking that question is, do you agree? Right? Do you agree? That is quite simple, but it's basic and it is also a closed question. But if you want to make it a little open question, and also if you need to get a more interesting answer, you could use some of these. What do you think about that? What's your opinion? How do you feel about it? So these sort of questions you can put forward when you need to get a more interesting answer from your co-workers or whatever the field that you are working with. You have to always speak up. So if you need to get a more interesting answer than yes or no, you could always go ahead with this. Now, I spoke about politeness. Now, this is a very important feature when it comes to professionals. You have to be formal, you have to be more polite. So, how do we say the same thing in a more polite manner? You could use number 5 and 6. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Or else you could say, I'm interested to hear your opinion about this. So these sound a little more polite than the previous questions. And if you need to be a little more formal, and maybe if you were at a meeting at work, or else, you might ask, would you like to add anything? Now you present your idea and you are seeking for the opinion of the rest of your co-workers or maybe your superior. So they might agree with you up to certain extent, and maybe they need to add something to it. So you could always ask an open question like, would you like to add anything? So this is like a nice sort of polite way of inviting other people into the conversation and also to share their opinion, their point of view on this matter. And yes, now I talked about vocabulary. Now, during all, like every week, we'll be working on vocabulary at the same time. So you will be able to collect some new words every week. And not just the words, how do you spell it? How do you pronounce it? And the most important part, no matter how many words you know, you have to know when and where to use it. Like in a real life situation, how do we do that? So in this course, something that I forgot to mention in the beginning, we'll be doing conversations as well. Now, if you face a real life situation of this sort, what would you do? What will you like? What sort of questions you might have to ask? And if those questions are asked from you, how would you answer those questions? So those sort of scenarios, and also this is a very interactive class. Everybody is given the option of speaking. So yes, you can freely speak up and also you can present your ideas about this situation. So those sort of activities are done throughout the course, like every week. And my advice, sometimes I tell like all my students to maintain a small notebook. Like during the live session, you could keep a small notebook and note down the new words that you learn. And not just that, how do we use that word in a real life situation, in a sentence? So then the next time that you face a similar situation, you know how to use this word. And I have professionals who are working abroad and they have worked in that field for many years, but still they have this issue, like they run out of words. No matter how long have they worked in that profession, they speak with native English speakers, yet they have this issue. So I will be catering according to your requirement in this, right, as much as I can, considering all the professionals that I have. Okay, so this is about asking for other people's opinion, right? What do you think? How do you feel about it? So you could choose whatever the question is most comfortable with you and then use it if you get to face a situation like that, right? So I'm giving you 7 options. And also you need to know when and where to use it. Which one is the most appropriate one to use in this situation? So that is why I have divided this into several parts. If you want to make it a polite statement, you could use this. If you need to make it a little formal, you could use something else. So like that, I have categorized it and it is quite like very easy for you to understand stuff. Right, so we'll move on to the next part. So what to say when you want to interrupt? Now, there are certain situations like you have to speak exactly at the moment when someone else is speaking, be it your boss or maybe your co-worker, whoever it is. There are certain situations in which you have to interrupt. You have to interfere that conversation or else that speech and ask a question or else maybe remind something. So how do we do that in a polite manner, right? So there are like definitely many ways to do it rudely, but of course there are many ways to do it politely as well. So sometimes you have to interrupt in conversations. So what would you say? The most simple, the two things that now these two everybody know. Sorry, excuse me. Those are the most basic ones. So you could say this and lead straight on with your different idea or else your opinion or else the question that you were waiting to ask. And this is like a little brief interjection in the sense interruption. So this is like if you are sharing a different opinion with the crowd, right? A different thought you could use. And also to informally interrupt someone, you could say, do you mind if I add to that? Can I jump in here? So this can I jump in here is a little bit informal. Now where you are talking to a set of friends or else really, really close co-workers, you could use that phrase. And also you can use something else. I will teach that during the course. towards the end of today's session. So this is like, can I jump in here? Like literally you are jumping into the conversation. You have to add something right at that moment. Okay. So I've got something to share. You could say like that. Do you mind if I add to that? You could ask that question when you want to interrupt someone. So there are more polite ways to express this. Now, earlier it was something common, but if you need to be a little more polite when you ask this, you could say, sorry to interrupt, but I've got something to share with you. Or else, but I've got something to say. Sorry to interrupt, but, and then you could go ahead with your idea. Or else you could say, sorry for interrupting, but I have got something to say. So these two are more polite than the previous ones. Now, what is the difference between sorry to interrupt and sorry for interrupting? Now, these might sound the same, but these are like used in separate situations. Now, if you are directly speaking to the person that you are interrupting, then you could say, sorry to interrupt, but I've got a different thought, something like that. It's just an example. But if you are walking into a room or stepping into a room full of people talking, maybe a meeting room, a conference hall, or something like that, you might say, sorry for interrupting. I just needed to share something with you. So the difference is, if you are directly talking to that person, you would say, sorry to interrupt. But if you are walking into a room or else a place where a large number of people or else a set of people are talking, then you could say, sorry for interrupting. I just needed to share something with you. So these are more polite ways to express the same thing. And if you need to be a little more formal than that, now the previous one was being polite. And if you need to be more formal, you could say, now if you are especially with customer surveys and when you need to interrupt a customer, a client maybe, you could say this, sorry, may I interrupt you for just a second or else for just a moment? That is like really, really formal. And another way to say the same thing is, if I may interrupt you for a minute, I'd like to share something with you. Now, this is like very, very formal. Especially with when you are working with customers or clients, you could use this phrase. So likewise, now here again, I have divided into several parts. How do we do it in the normal manner? How do we do it in a more polite manner? And also, how do we do this in a more formal manner? All right, so moving on to the next part. And in the meanwhile, you can send your questions in the Zoom chat. Yes, now this is a one very common area that we have to look into. Now, no matter which profession you are in, when you get to speak about something, sometimes you go off topic, right? So what do you say to come back or else to be back on track? How do we like go back there? Now, let's just think, as a doctor, you get to talk about COVID-19, the pandemic, and all the scientific stuff about that. And somehow you go off topic and talk about your personal something, which is not related to your topic. So this happens sometimes. So when you get distracted, or else when you get too excited, you go off topic, you don't know what you are speaking about. And when you realize that you have gone off topic, how do we come back to the topic? How do you get your conversation back on track? So these could be used. So anyway, getting back to my story, like that you could enter your topic again. So without getting stuck, without staring at the audience, you could use this phrase and slowly move on with your first topic that you were supposed to talk about. Or else you could say, as I was saying about this pandemic, and then you could continue your conversation. Or else you could say, oh, where was I? Yes, about the pandemic. So like that, you could use these phrases. Now, these are very, very, very important. And at the same time, these could be used in real life situations. This is not just a lesson. This is like a life lesson to anybody who's listening. At least once in your life, you might have gone off topic, isn't it? So you could use these sort of phrases when you want to get your conversation back on track, right? So, and there are certain instances where you could combine these and use also, right? Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Right, this is again another really important expressions, sort of a set of expressions that you need to learn, that you need to know. Now, if you are listening so that you are, and to be confident about your answers. Now, just imagine a situation where two people are speaking and maybe the other one is a native speaker. So you are listening carefully to what he's speaking, but still you are not really sure about what he just said. So when you need to make sure what you heard is right, and when you need to make sure you are answering it accurately, you could use these, right? Or else maybe you didn't hear it perfectly. So you are not really sure about the meaning, or else what is this person really asking, right? So you think you understood, but you just need to recheck. You just need to double check what you heard, right? There are situations like that. You were listening to the conversation and you think you understood from inside, but there's a small doubt. Is this really the question that he's asking from me? So if that's the situation, you could always double check by asking this. So what you are asking is, and then you could repeat the same statement that you heard. And also, you could, now these are four options. You could just choose one out of this and speak. The next one is, so what you want to know is, and then again you can repeat what he said, or else what you heard him say. And also, you could paraphrase. Paraphrase in the sense you understood something, so you change the words according to what you know or else what you understand, and you'd say, do you mean this? And then you could explain what you understood. So if what you understood was wrong, they would correct you, right? No, 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 no. I was not asking about that. I was asking about something else. Just like that, the other partner, the other person that you are talking with would correct you, right? And in other words, what you are saying is, these are four options that you could use when you need to, or else when you feel like you have to double check what you understood. So this is quite important when you work with your superiors, your bosses also. So sometimes they give you commands, okay, do this, do that, very quickly. But if you are not really sure about what you were supposed to do, you could always use these phrases and make sure what you heard is exactly the same thing. Okay. And yes, so this is like a really natural part of conversation. So native speakers are not going to care if you ask them to confirm it, because it is much more easier to continue the conversation, right? Because with native speakers, more or the less, they would say the same thing again. And if you are working in customer service, so if you are working with customers or clients where you have to be very patient, right? You could always use the word confirm. Confirm. I would like to confirm what you said. Now just imagine you are an accountant, so you have to take some details about a shipment or something like that. I don't know, according to your profession. So you need to be really accurate with the facts, or else with the details that you are taking from your client. So when you need to confirm, you could use the word confirm itself. I would like to confirm what you just said. Or else Another way to say the same thing is, excuse me, can I just confirm that? Or else, can I confirm what you said? You could use these phrases, and here it is a little more formal when you use the word confirm. Confirm. And the other one is, now you present your idea and you are asking for someone else's, right? Do you agree with me? So the easier part is, when you are agreeing with someone else, it is easier. But to be on the other side, or else when you need to disagree with someone, it is a little bit difficult to say at once. So I'll teach you how to do that without hurting the other person. Right? Now, first, before going to that one, we'll see there are actually so many different ways to agree or to disagree with someone and to say that. Agreeing is pretty simple. You could say, yes, absolutely. Now just imagine you are presenting your project proposal at a meeting, and then you present your ideas about the upcoming TV commercial or something like that, anything. Let's say you are a marketing executive and you have to do something on that. So you present your ideas and you ask your co-workers and the other people around you whether you agree with it. So the other person, or else if you are one of that crowd where you have to give an answer, you could say, yes, absolutely. So if you are totally agreeing with what that person is saying, you could say, yes, absolutely. Or else you could say, I completely agree with you, right? I completely agree with you. And there's one more favorite phrase that I probably use most of the time. So I would say this is a really fantastic expression, which is, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Or else, I couldn't possibly agree more. Or else you could say, I really strongly agree with you. So these are very, I don't know, very beautiful phrases in English if you can put them into practice. Now, without being in the common group, yes, absolutely, you could use a different phrase, right? You could always use different new phrases to mean the same thing. So you could use new phrases like these, right? So we will be discussing more on these phrases also throughout the course. Like when you start the course, you will get to know what else we are discussing about. Okay, so earlier we looked at how do we agree. Now the difficult part is, if you do not agree with that person, you are not the same page as he or she is. How do we say that? Now, there are situations like this. You are not totally disagreeing with that person. You agree with that person up to some extent. But still, you are not 100% disagree or 100% agree. Let's say 50-50 or else a divided percentage. So you would say, I see what you mean, but I have a different opinion. That means up to some extent, you are agreeing with his idea, but still you have a little bit different point of view in something else. Okay. Or else you could say, I understand your point of view, but I think in a little bit different way. So like that, you could put forward your opinion or else your thought on that particular topic. Or else a different way to say the same thing is, I can see where you are coming from, but I have a different opinion. Or else the last one is, I agree with you up to a point. However, I've got a different opinion. So these are four options. In an instance where you are somewhat disagreeing with the person, you could use one out of these four, not all four. I'm just giving you options. So with whatever the phrase that you are comfortable with, you could use that. Right. So moving on to the other one. When you completely disagree with someone, what do you say? Now he's talking about the left side. So you are not going with the left, you have to have the right. So it's like totally, completely disagreeing, totally different weaves, not telling, right? So it's like, how do we say it? You totally disagree. You can't come into a conclusion with that person. So what do we say if it is a situation like that? You could say, I don't feel the same way. I don't feel the same way. Or else you could say, actually, I don't quite agree. Or else you could say, actually, I disagree. Or else there's this nice phrase that you can add. I'm afraid I don't agree with you on that. Or else, I'm afraid I don't agree about that, with you about that. So this small phrase coming, like expression coming in the beginning, I'm afraid. Now the normal meaning of being afraid is you are scared. But here it add a little more politeness into your phrase when you add I'm afraid, right? I'm afraid I don't agree with you about that. So in this way, you could make your statement a little more polite than to just say that you are scared or you are worried. So there are, like, I have given you some other examples. I'm afraid I can't help you. I'm afraid we have run out of sausages. So these are like totally different examples, but you could use that in a different situation as well. And yes, this is just a way of making those statements a little more polite. You can do the same thing with when you're disagreeing. And to be a little formal when you disagree, you could add the word respectfully. Now, if you are talking to, let's say, a very respectable, or else a very who is holding a very high position, a very, let's say, your superior, or else your boss, or else the bosses of boss, something like that. You could use this word respectfully. Let's say you get to talk to a minister or else a high official. So you could just say, I don't feel the same way. It sounds rude. So you could do it in a more formal manner. You could say, respectfully, I have to disagree. Respectfully, I have to disagree. So then you are mentioning respectfully. It doesn't harm. Like, it is not that hurtful when you say, because you have added the word respectfully. So you have to be very cautious with the words that you say, the words that come out of your mouth. So even in a very formal, when you work, especially this is a common thing with professionals, once you say something, you can't really correct it afterwards. So when you work with higher officials, you have to be very careful with the words that you use. So here it's a good one, respectfully. Respectfully, sir, I have to disagree, like that. Yes, if you have any questions, you can send them through the Zoom chat. And if you feel like your conversation isn't going anywhere, maybe there's a bit of tension, or else people are getting frustrated or annoyed, and then you want to change the topic. Now, there are certain situations like that. So you are telling one thing and the other person is telling something else. So you have to change the topic. Otherwise, you will end up with an argument. So you don't need that. So how do we change the topic? I will teach you that as well. So then you could end the conversation at that. Well, we'll have to agree to disagree then. So likewise, you can end the conversation at a good note without going into an argument, right? And also when you speak in English, your facial expressions, your gestures, your outer appearance, actually normally we say your facial expressions, like it's like a mirror, it reflects everything which is inside. So you have to be very careful with your expressions, also your body language. So when you are speaking to someone, if you are rolling your eyes, or else if you are shaking your head, or else if you look, you sigh. So if you present those sort of features, those sort of body language, then the other person starts feeling that you are frustrated, or else you are annoyed, you are angry with him or something like that. So it's not that good if you show your inner, no matter how much you are angry or else you are annoyed with that person, still you have to work with him. So don't make your body language look like that, right? So it's quite rude if you do that. So just an advice, try to avoid that. So before going into that depth, try to end the conversation using this one, the one that I taught you just now. Well, we'll have to agree to disagree then. Like that, you could end it on a good note without going into an argument. And also, when you need to change the topic, now, when you need to change the topic, like during what sort of situations do we have to do that? Now, sometimes when you start speaking, you run out of things to say about that topic. So, like more than ending the conversation at that, it's better if you can change the direction, change the topic, right? So you can divert, you can change the direction of your conversation and move on to a different topic. So in that way, it's better rather than ending your conversation at that. So when you, now how do we change the topic? And how do we do that in a good way in English? Now, in Sinhala, we know how to change the topic like that. But how do we do the same thing in English? When you speak in English, how do we say that? Now, you could use this. This is quite useful. You could start with this. That reminds me of my other project proposal, or else that reminds me of my new opportunity at this place. Like that, you could slowly change your topic. Or else, speaking about, or else speaking of that, these phrases are quite good when you need to change the topic. And this is a really useful expression of, or a way, kind of linking two ideas in a conversation. Let's just say someone is talking about his or her vacation or else the holiday to Greece. Now that reminds me of your trip that you are planning to go somewhere in the next year. So you could use this phrase to join these two ideas also. Now, these are very useful when you, no matter even if you are a professional or not, these are very useful even for your daily conversations as well. So please make the best use of it. No, like we don't know when the opportunity arises. So you have to be ready with the tools. So that's why I'm teaching these sort of tools that you could use whenever you need to. Right? So I would give this example. Speaking about your holiday to Greece, did I tell you that I've got a trip planned later in the year? So this is a little, a trick sort of that you could use to change the topic. Now, she must be blabbering, boasting about her trip to Greece, and you have to change the topic right at that moment. So you could use this to change the direction of the conversation. All right. So moving on to the next part. And also, during the conversation, when you need to introduce something completely different. Now, let's just say now, earlier you were talking about your vacations, your holidays, and then suddenly you need to talk about work. So how do we completely change the topic? So rather than diverting or as changing the direction, how do we introduce something completely different in between of another conversation? So there are situations like that. So you could say, oh, by the way, did I tell you about my new job offer? So like that, you could introduce something completely different while you are in a conversation. Or else you can say, oh, while I remember, and then you could mention that idea or else the different topic that you are going to talk about. Or else you could say, before I forget, I've got something I want to say. So these are good phrases when you want to introduce something completely different, totally different from what you are talking right now, right? So this one, even in Sinhala, we say, before I forget, I've got something I want to say, right? And number 42, this has nothing to do with what you are or else what we are talking about, but I've got to share it anyway. So you are currently talking about a totally different one. So, but still, you need to mention that other idea right at that moment. So then you could use this phrase. I know this is completely changing the topic, but I've got to tell you, right? So these phrases, no matter in which profession you work, right? No matter who you are, you have to know these. These are like the basic stuff that you have to have up in your sleeve. That means the tools that you need to have, that you need to know whenever you need to use them. So you can't, memorize everything. Like you can't remind yourself, rubbing your head or something. You have to, have that in your muscle memory. Like this, in a split second, you have to get that idea and say it like that. So that's why I'm planning to train you in that manner. How do we really face a situation like that? Yes, so you can actually present your questions or anything that you want me to answer. Yes, if you have any questions, you can use the Zoom chat to send them. Yes, any questions from the audience? You could always use the Zoom chat if you have any. Okay, so now this is another important one. What is meant by controversial? Controversial topic. A bit of an argumentative topic. So let's just say you have a competitor. You always have one when you work with. So you both have different sides. Now you are okay with the new proposal, but your colleague or else your co-worker, your competitor is not agreeing with it. He has a totally different point of view. So when you talk about a controversial topic, as in politics, maybe religion, or else a social issue, you always have two sides to it. Not all of you agree to one. Let's say about politics, so you have different parties. So like I have many students over here now, so not just everybody is supporting one party. So always you have different other opinions. So when you have to talk about something like politics or religion or else a social issue, which is a very argumentative, very contentious, very controversial topic, you have to be very careful. So you can't avoid that situation, right? But you have to face it. But you have to keep your conversation open, and also you have to keep your conversation positive at the same time. So when you are introducing an idea that you feel like everyone's not going to agree with you, then you could try saying this. Now, before you tell, you know that this is going to create some sort of a argument within the crowd. So you could use this. I know not everyone agrees with me, but this is what I think about the current situation. So with this pandemic, I don't think we can promote this anymore, right? Like that, according to whatever your profession or else that topic that you are talking about, you could use this phrase in the beginning of the sentence and then put forward your argument or else your point of view. So in that way, other people can't blame you because you have already said that this might not be the popular opinion, or else this might not be the idea that everybody would agree with me. Like that, you could say in the beginning before you are presenting your idea, then you are on the safe side. Okay, or else another good word to use is contentious. Contentious in the sense controversial. That means always you have advantages and then disadvantages. So you are talking about one side, but your colleague would point out the disadvantages in that. Likewise. So you could say, I know this is a contentious issue, and then you can go on explaining it. Okay. And one more thing, for group 1, I chose a vocabulary lesson, but today's one is totally different. So if you need to watch that video also, I have shared that in the WhatsApp group. So some students might be wondering, where's the vocabulary part? So this is like, some weeks we do vocabulary also. If someone is wondering about that, I have done that video for group 1, which will be covered for you during the course, not today, right? So that day I talked that day I was talking about personality. So when you get to define or else describe someone's personality, you run out of words, or else some topic where you get to describe or else justify your answer, something like that. So you have to know, like, the number of words that you know are limited. That is the main reason that professionals, even normal students, get stuck when they speak. So in this course, we are mainly focusing on the words also, vocabulary, pronunciation, the use of them in a sentence, in a real life situation, right? So that I will be covering. But today, this is a more important lesson, right? Another way, now still I am in this discussion, the controversial topic. So another one that you could use is, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I strongly believe. So you are already saying this is not, now if you take 100 people, out of 80% would disagree with me, but the other 20% would stand right with me on the same side. So you could introduce your topic like that. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I strongly believe that we have to go ahead with this project proposal, or else this decision in our company, or else in this decision with our field. So if you have to talk about something like that, maybe in your interview or else maybe in your presentation, anywhere you have to speak up, you have to be very confident with what you are speaking, right? So please try to practice these. These are very, very useful phrases when you get to speak in English. Another beautiful way to say the same thing is, I don't see eye to eye with everyone on this matter, but I think it is really important to discuss this. So what is the meaning of saying eye to eye? That means both of us or else both the groups are not agreeing on the same thing. But I think that this is really important. This is worthwhile to discuss about. And 48, whilst you may not agree with my views, I'm definitely interested in hearing yours. This is a very tricky and also a very good phrase that you can use, especially with controversial topics, right? So you are presenting your views, and not only that, you are very much interested about hearing your opponents or else your other co-workers' views as well. So they can't blame you because you have listened to all parts of it. You haven't taken one side at once. You are interested in hearing their opinions as well. So this is like a very friendly, but at the same time, you have done your part also. Very good phrase. And also another beautiful phrase that you could use is ruffle anyone's feathers. What is the meaning of ruffle anyone's feathers? 49. I'm not trying to ruffle anyone's feathers here. So normal ruffle in the sense when you do this with hair, right? You make it messy. You ruffle, right? Ruffle anyone's feathers. So here it is like a little fun idiom that you could use when you need to say, I'm not trying to make anyone upset or else angry. You know, I'm just sharing a different point of view or else a different idea. So I'm not intending to ruffle anyone's feathers, right? So these sorts of, I will be doing a separate lesson on idioms as well. So when you get to this professional circle, many professionals use these sort of, like, they do not directly say certain things, indirectly they say. So you have to be in a position where you understand all of that, not just the basic English, the basic straightforward stuff, but the things that you come that the things that you have to face indirectly, the statements, the phrases, the expressions in English. There are many more that you do not know. So yes, I'm looking forward to teach them and also train and make, like, how do we use that in a real life situation. So please try it. Now this is just one that I have taken today. Ruffle anyone's feathers. Okay, so please try to use that from maybe tomorrow onwards. Okay, moving on to the last part. What to say when you want to end a conversation. Now, these are sort of simple expressions. Like, you could have one of these simple expressions on hand when you need to politely end a conversation and move on, right? So we don't want to get stuck in a conversation. So let's just say you are in a very, let's say, a busy moment, or else you have so much more work to do, and it is like a very awkward situation in your conversation. So without making it any more awkward, you could end that conversation on a good note. How do we say? How do we end a conversation in a friendly manner, in a polite manner? You could use one of these three. Well, I would best be off, or else you could say I would best be off. It's been great chatting. So I love the time that I spent with you talking, but it's best for me to be off now. Like that, right? I would best be off. It's been great chatting. Or else another one to use is, anyway, I would better get back to it, or else I would better get back to work. So you were working, but you were still engaged in that conversation. So you would say, okay, now it's time for me to get back to work. Like that, you could slowly, you could politely end that conversation. Or else the last one is, I'm so glad I ran into you. It's been great catching up. I'll see you soon. Right? So these are just a few of the expressions that I shared with you today. Right? Last one, I'll read it out once more. I'm so glad I ran into you. It's been great catching up. I'll see you soon. Right? So again, I'll tell you, this is a very polite way in which you can end the conversation and move on with whatever you were doing. Right? So that's basically what I wanted to cover for the lesson today. And let me give you a brief outline on today's lesson again, because I saw some of the students join in the middle of the lesson. So what I did today was this: advanced phrases for confident English conversation. So this is just one part of it, but we will be continuing these sorts of lessons from next week onwards. And yes, we have already uh, we we already have some students. And yes, any questions from your end, from the students? So today actually we talked about how do we ask for someone else's opinion. When you want to interrupt someone, how do we do that? In a polite manner, in an informal manner, in a formal manner, and also in the most simplest, the most general ones. How do we do that? And also when you need to, yes, if you are walking into a room full of people, how do we say? Or else when you are directly speaking to that person, there are different ways in which you can do the same thing, in a polite way and also in a more formal way. So I have discussed all of that today. And yes, when you have gone off topic, so I have given you many options. You can choose one out of them and use them. Okay, when you have gone off topic. And also when you think you understood, but you need to recheck, you have to check it again, whether you have done it in the correct manner, right? Whether you have understood it correctly. So before you answer a question, you have to be very confident about what you understood first. So if you give a wrong answer, the other person might wonder, okay, what is this person telling? I didn't ask him about that. So likewise, you have to be very cautious. You have to be very confident with the words that you speak, right? According to the situation, you have to know which word to use, right? You can't talk very friendly in a very friendly manner with your boss or else with your superior or maybe with a higher official. But with your co-workers, with your close friends, you could be a little informal when you speak. So you have to know these differences. What is basic English? What is advanced English? What is informal? What is formal? What is being impolite? And what is polite? So you have two sides for everything. So you need to know which is what. And yes, I have students from different professionals, just like I said before. So these students have this problem now due to this COVID-19 and everything. You have to do everything digitally. You have to type emails. So I will be doing a separate one on business emails. And apart from that, how do we, draft a report? So I will be covering those sorts of lessons also. So if anyone have questions on that, you could always use the Zoom chat and send me your questions. I didn't get much of many questions today. Maybe I have told everything that you need to know. But if you still have any other questions, you can put forward them now. Yes, and some students have asked about the course again. Yes, this is conducted on Saturdays, 8 to 10 p.m. And this will be a 4-month course. And we didn't actually expect to start our group 2 in the middle of the month. But due to the higher demand, we had to start. So we'll be continuing from this week onwards on Saturdays. Yes. Are you covering how to use correct grammar in this class? So yes, definitely you have to know your grammar. Now some students think that grammar is one thing, spoken English is one thing. So to speak in English, you need to know your grammar also. But I will not be doing grammar like in school. Okay, today it's present continuous, take down your book, like take down notes. Not like that. We will be covering grammar, the most important stuff, the advanced sentence structures, the complex sentences, how do we use that, but in a more practical manner. How do we use this in a very real life situation, right? In a more effective manner. So no matter how much I teach you grammar, if you don't know how to use that in real life, in a conversation, it's not going to be effective. Yes, somewhat yeah, yes, Amila Bandaranayaka. Someone has commented, love to speak English like the way you speak. Yes, so that is basically the objective, isn't it? So I don't know. I feel very confident when I speak in English, any language. So you have to have that same confidence when you present yourself in front of an audience, right? So I like when I started, I have faced many situations where I got nervous, but throughout that time, I have improved myself. So no matter how much of a big audience I have that confidence to present myself. So you need to have that aspect. The main thing is confidence. Now, some students, they are very perfect in the language. Still, they are afraid that they will make mistakes when they speak. So because of that, they are, stammering, they are very slow, very quiet and all that. They don't express their feelings or else their thoughts, their opinions out loud. That is a very sad, but the truth. So please, I'm requesting every one of you, you could join this course and feel that difference. What am I going to do here? Right? Yes, sure. Yes, Jana has asked, will you send or share your presentations end of every class? So I mentioned you earlier, maybe you were not there. I will be now, if you miss the chance to attend the live session, yes, we will be anyway providing you with the recording, video recording. So I request personally, if you can attend the live class, it's better, because I will be giving individual attention to each one of you. And you are getting the opportunity to speak up and practice in the class, in the live session itself. You get the opportunity to speak with me, to practice with me. So something that you don't get in other classes. Yes, I will be sharing the most important notes, the expressions, the words that you need to know. Yes, from my side. Now, some students asked, do we have to have textbooks? What should I buy? No, nothing. You don't have to bring anything, right? So you just have to have a small notebook, maybe, right? I will be providing everything that you need to have when you follow up this course. Yes, any other questions? Yes, me, Vimal. Yes, if you have any question, you can send those on the Zoom chat. Yes, what are the other questions that you have? Yes, I have some students who have already enrolled to our class, and I'm happy to say we have students from different professions. We have doctors, engineers, and some students from the marketing field, and also, yes, we have teachers also. Yes. Okay, so any other questions? Yes, bankers, accountants, of course. I think I listed them as much as I could in the poster that I made. Yes, somehow, yes, Miss, do we have to note down these lessons, or will you give them as PDF or something? Yes, I will be providing you with the notes, so you don't have to note it down. You don't have to do it. Yes. Any practical sessions other than the class? What do you mean by practical sessions other than the class? These are very practical sessions, because you get to speak up in the class. We will be having different activities where you get to talk to another person from the same class, right? So I will be introducing the students in each group from next week onwards. So you can practice with one of your friends during the class as well. Yes, Krish Mano has said really good session, so helpful. Yes, I'm so glad if you feel like that. Yes. Um, any other questions? And one more thing, this is not like a theory class. You don't have to note down each and everything. This is a very interactive class. You could speak up, right? You could present your ideas, and always I'm open. You could always contact me on WhatsApp if you have any other questions, like I will display the number. I'm available on WhatsApp, and or else you can call on this number. Whenever I'm free, I will be replying to your messages. And also, I have created a separate group, and I will be adding the students who have confirmed and paid to that group. There are several students that I have to add into that. So in the group itself, you can communicate with the other friends also, right? If you have any questions, you can put in that group, or else you could directly send me the text. I will be helping you. Now, there are some students who come to my group class, and also I'm helping them with their career also when they have to, face an interview or else something extra. I will be always there to help you, always there to guide you. So don't have any doubt on that. I'm always there to help you on any matter, right? Even when you have to, type an email, something like that, I normally help my students with that as well. Any other questions? If you have any, do you select the best student at the end of the course? um, I haven't thought about that. Maybe if you demand some sort of that, yes, I can, give us a sort of exam, or else maybe a very practical thing where you know, yes, we could do something like that also. Yes, different experience. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Aruna Jayakodi has said that you are very professional. Yes, thank you. Any other questions with regard to the course? You could ask about that now. And yes, only 6 more left, because already 9 students have confirmed and paid and joined. There are 6 more left for group 2. And we are starting from next week itself. So whoever is interested, whoever is going to join, please confirm within the next few days, because I'm quite sure this is going to exceed 15. So before that happens, I'm requesting anyone who is interested to join. In the place where it exceeds 15, I'll have to go for another one. So I don't know when will I start another one. So yes, any other questions? Yeah, the students who have enrolled are also present here today. Any questions from your end? And yes, the students who have missed the first part of today's session, I will be uploading this video on YouTube, and you could search us on this name, the same name as in the institute, Online A Plus Tutor. We are actually available on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you have to find us. You could also Google us. We will be uploading today's session on YouTube as well. Any other questions? If not, I can end the session with this. Any other questions, or else any comments that you need to make before we wind up for today? No? Yes, some has asked about the previous one. Yes, for group 1, I did a separate lesson for the introductory video, introductory session. So I will share that as well. I did a vocabulary lesson on that. I'll try to give the link so you can watch that as well. Yes, I will share that on the chat. You could take it from that. Yes, so if you don't have, yes, welcome. If you don't have any other questions, I will end the session at that, and we'll continue from next week onwards. Yes, reading is a good thing that you can practice. Yes, reading makes a man perfect, isn't it? So yes, it's very much good, better if you could continue reading, right? How much? Okay, I'm at, okay, right. So yes, anyone who is interested, you can join from next week onwards. We'll be continuing the class on the same time, Saturdays, 8 to 10 p.m. So if you don't have other questions, I will wind up at that. And yes, so thank you for joining today. And I hope that I have given you something very, very useful today. And please try to practice these from tomorrow onwards. And if you have any other questions, if you feel like you have to contact me personally, you can always use this number. So again, thank you for joining. I'll see you guys next week. All right. Good night and stay safe, everyone.